Hello, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Scott Sports 101. I'm Scott Trella. We're going to talk Cavs and Browns and Guardians, the NBA playoffs, and we're going to talk about all that. But first, here is today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question, and it's a Major League Baseball trivia question. Who are the two players since 2000 to homer on their 40th birthdays? And I'll have the answer later on the podcast. We're going to start with the Cavs. And here's another hopes of another basketball championship have come to an end for the Cleveland Cavaliers after being eliminated by from the 2025 playoffs by Indiana last Tuesday night in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Final. Well, it's not finals fans desired at Rocket Arena. Cavs owner Dan Gilbert shared a following message on X.com to let him know the team is focused on the game. And you're gonna Cavs fans. I know it's heartbreaking. Gilbert wrote. The good news is we have a talented young core that will learn from this and continue to get better. We appreciate your incredible support all season long. It's not how we wanted it to end, but I promise you we will do everything humanly possible to address what needs to be fixed and end in a much better place next year. And they will tweak things. They're going to tweak some things, but the four core, the four core itself is going to return next year. So that you can look forward to. Star player Donovan Mitchell also had a message for fans. We'll be back, he promised. We let the city down, and we let each other down, but we'll be back. And he feels that way, and all the Cavs players feel that way. After Game 3, News talked with Channel 3 News talked with a few fans who had the following reactions at the end of the day. They played a better game than we did. It's not a heavy star struggled studded team. It's not a heavy star studded team. Excuse me. We lost against a mediocrity man and a mediocrity team. I say defense. That's what wins a game all the time. But I still love the land. Excuse me. And I'll be back next year. Now, I feel the Cavs did not play tough in this series, and I feel they need to work on playing together as a team. And a lot of people are going to agree with me on that because it's what we do need to work on. Dan Gilbert had his press conference today, and I know he had a lot to say in that press conference today. And I'm going to give you just a brief. I give you some of that, and let me. And I'm going to give you. Uh, and it was this morning. Uh, but I do know he had a lot to say, and at that press conference this morning, and Yeah, Kobe Altman had his uh, uh, and it was his these are videos, excuse me. Uh, but uh, uh, but this is a season-ended press conference, and this is something from the Akron Beacon Journal. With the 2024-25 season, uh, Cavaliers season ending earlier than the franchise and its fan base expected, the spotlight has shifted to the Cavs' president of basketball operations, Kobe Altman. Uh, Now, here's $1 million question. How will Altman approach this offseason after the Cavs went 64-18 in the regular season and earned the Eastern Conference's #1 playoff seed, only to flop with a 4-1 second round series loss to the fourth seeded Indiana Pacers? That's the big question right there. Altman will have a chance to shape the expectation of Cavs fans when he conducts his end of season media availability. Altman addressed reporters on the morning this morning, uh, and he was very disappointed that the Cavs season ending earlier than expected. Altman said he believes the way the season ended will fuel the Cavs moving forward. Uh, but I also know I don't have a timeline on when I'm not going to be depressed, Altman said, but I'll get over it. Part of it is we have great attitudes in this building. We have a great culture. We we have the belief from the top down. We have an incredible culture. This is genuine. Uh, And we've got to give Donovan Mitchell so much praise. Altman said, big reason six-time All-Star guard Donovan Mitchell signed a contract extension with the Cavs last summer is the presence of the other members of the core four, and they're going to be back this for the upcoming season. All-Star point guard Darius Garland, All-Star Evan Mobley, and center Jarrett Allen. They will all be back this next season. And let's give Donovan an incredible amount of escalades and praise for what he did this year, Altman said. He said, I am willing to take a step back, excuse me, but I want to get Garland back to an all-star level, which is going to help our confidence and help our runway. And Evan Mobley has to take a leap. I want to play with Evan in the second unit so I can force feed him to make sure he's going to be ready for the playoffs. And that's not going to stop. I think we've got to give Donovan Mitchell so much praise for his leadership. He's one of the best players in the NBA. We are fortunate to have this kind of leader. Uh, that's really selfless, and but and they are concerned about the starting small backcourt. Altman said we can dispel that Mitchell and Garland can't play together. We supplement what you would call the small backcourt with a tremendous size and length. Adding DeAndre Hunter was a huge piece to that. Altman said. Now, Garland missed 4 playoff games with a sprained left big toe before playing hurt in the final 3 games of the Eastern Conference semifinals, and he played a career high this year in, in games at 71 games, Altman said. But I do think there's a level that he can get to that he hasn't tapped into yet. And it's a conversation that we've had with this. He needs to get stronger so he can compete at the highest level. It's the same thing with Stephen Curry. With Stephen Curry, excuse me, when we picked up Steph got so strong over his uh, uh, maturation, uh, maturation over his years. He is a different physical specimen, Stephen Curry, than he was when we first started playing him. It's the same thing that has to happen with Darius. And But Altman said the Cavs would love to have guard Ty Jerome back. Jerome is scheduled to become an unrestricted free agent this summer. Yeah, we'd love to have him. We'd love to keep uh, Todd, but we'll see what the marketplace holds, Altman says. So that's basically some of Jared. Altman defended center Jared Allen, compared him to Pacer center Miles Turner, adding Turner is an example of an organization being rewarded for sticking with a player whose future has been doubted by outsiders. They're not who they are without Miles Turner, Altman said. And so, again, we got to take caution before we say, well, we're better without Jarrett. So that's why he's going to be back next season. You're not going to get much better if you're talking about moving away from Jarrett. Jarrett's an important part of this core. So, but the Cavs, we still must figure out how to win in the NBA playoffs. Altman said their team needs to figure out how to win at the highest level. This is where we want to live with the expectation of a championship, he said. Altman lamented the Cavs blowing a 20-point lead in Game 2 against the Pacers. You can't give away playoff games, he said. You can't give away Game 2 to the Pacers. That's going to haunt us forever. Now, here's his belief in the Cavaliers' core four. Altman reportedly expressed both uh, faith in the core four. This is year three for the core four, and they've had incredible success. Right, playoff success needs to come next, but I think there's an internal belief because of what we have proved this year during the regular season. Uh, and uh, and what we are capable and what we're capable of to run it back and see what we can do. But it's just not running it back. It's another year of Kenny Atkinson as head coach. We had the second best offensive rating in the history of the NBA this year as an offensive group. There's a new identity for us. That's a new identity for us, excuse me. And we kept and maintained our defensive and identity at the same time. And there was a newness, freshness this year. I know this is a year three, but there's a newness, a new freshness that we're going to take into next year, having failed again in the playoffs and knowing how much that's going to hurt. And we're going to get over the hump. That this group's going to go over the hump, to get over the hump, excuse me. So, and here's some more Kobe Altman's thoughts on the Cavs. So, if we're going to be reactionary, it had been last year, after everything that was written about the group and all the rumors of and all this and that, Altman said, and we stood uh, and pat and look what happened, right? I think the same thing now as you learn even more to what we're building, the culture that we have here and the internal growth of the youth and sustainability of that. I think there's a championship window that we have here that's wide open, and that's one that we're going to try to pursue next year and the years after, and the year after, and the year after, and so forth. So we're not done by any stretch, but I would say if there was a time that we were going to crumble, potentially would have been last year. Certainly not after what we've seen from this group this year, and something where we're where where we are going to break up a group that has been together for 3 years and has accomplished what they've accomplished and is ready to take the next step as disappointing as this ending was. So now here's his expectation of an NBA championship for this new group of Cavaliers. Ullman made it clear he expects the Cavs to contend. We're not going to go anywhere, he said. This team is not getting any worse. I don't know if we have 64 wins left in us, but we're certainly going to compete for the best record again. And the impact of Allman said Garland's injury had a major impact on the Cavs in the Eastern Conference semifinals. I do think not having Darius in the first two games rattled us just from what you want your point guard to be able to handle some of that pressure. Altman said, "Give the Pacers credit though." So, but related to the point about Garland's toe injury, do the Cavs need another ball handling guard? To ask Ty to become a starting point guard in the conference semifinals, that's hard. That's a big ask to ask. Kind of in bringing the ball up 94 feet and then create an offense. That's a big ask. Not having your all-star point guard healthy was a big part of that. Altman said so. Uh, and here's and that's just some of it. And so I don't have time to read it all, but that's just some of what he said at the press conference today. And really, I just feel that, and I feel that the Cavs will be back in it next year, and I think we will. We will go further in the playoffs next year, and I'm just glad that uh, the the core four is going to be back next season, and right now, we're going to move on to the Browns. It's here. The Browns' 2025 schedule has finally been released. The Browns and their fans knew since January who would be on the 17-game schedule. They just didn't know in what order and at what time those games would be played. Turns out going 3-14, having no clear answer at quarterback, doesn't make a team a big prime time draw outside of the game in London against the Minnesota Vikings. The Browns have no current primetime kickoffs and only one 4 p.m. and only two 4 p.m. games, of which is in Las Vegas. And also, instead of taking the bye week, instead of taking the bye week right after the trip to London, the Browns are taking it right in the middle of the season in Week 9. Now, I'm going to give you the Browns' 2025 schedule, including the preseason dates and times. I'm going to give you them right now. All right, preseason games. First one is Friday, August 8th. They'll be at Bank of America Stadium playing the Carolina Panthers in North Carolina at 7 p.m. on News Channel 5. They're only going to be on Channel 5 this year. And then it'll be Saturday, August 16th. They'll be in Philly to take on the Eagles. That'll be at 1 p.m. on Channel 5. And rounding out the preseason, Saturday, August 23rd, that'll be the only preseason home game versus the Los Angeles Rams at 1 p.m. on News Channel 5. And now for the 2025 regular season schedule. The Browns begin the season on Sunday, September 7th versus the Cincinnati Bengals at 1 p.m. on Fox. Week 2, after that, Week 2, the Browns will, on September 14th, Sunday, September 14th, excuse me, will travel to Baltimore at 1 p.m. and they'll be to play the Ravens at 1 p.m. on CBS. And Week 3, Sunday, September 21st, versus Green Bay. They'll be playing the Green Bay Packers at home at 1 p.m. That'll be on Fox. Week 4, they'll be at Detroit, and that's going to be a tough one, as they're going to be taking on the Detroit Lions at 1 p.m. on Fox. And that's September 28th. Week 5, Sunday, October 5th. That'll be the London game. That'll be versus the Minnesota Vikings at London's Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And that'll be at 9:30 on NFL Network. Week 6, Sunday, October 12th at Pittsburgh Steelers at Askew Stadium at 1 p.m. on CBS. Week 7, October 19th, they'll be home to take on Miami at 1 p.m. on CBS. Week 8, October 26th, they'll be in New England to take on the Patriots at 1 p.m. on Fox. And Week 9, as I mentioned, they're taking the bye week. That's right in the middle of the season. And Week 10 on Sunday, November 9th, they'll be at the New York Jets. They'll take on the New York Jets at Metropolitan Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey at 1 p.m. on CBS. Week 11, Sunday, November 16th, versus the Baltimore Ravens at 4:25 p.m. on CBS. That'll be here. We play them at home. And then week 12, Sunday, November 12th, at they'll be in Las Vegas to take on the Raiders at 4:05 p.m. That's another late game on CBS. And I think that last one that I mentioned, I think that was a late game. Yes, I just mentioned both the late game. Week 13, which is Sunday, November 30th, which will be Thanksgiving. They'll be during Thanksgiving weekend to conclude it. They will play the San Francisco 49ers at home at 1 p.m. on CBS. Week 14 on Sunday, December 7th, excuse me. They'll be playing the Tennessee Titans at 1 p.m. on Fox. Week 15, which is Sunday, December 14th, they'll be in Chicago. They'll be in Chicago to take on the Bears at 1 p.m. on Fox. And that one before, that's here. The Tennessee Titans here at home. Week 16 on Sunday, December 21st, they'll play the Buffalo Bills here at home at 1 p.m. on CBS. Sunday, December 28th, week 17, they will play the Pittsburgh Steelers here at home at 1 p.m. on CBS. And week 18, the final week of the regular season, we end it in Cincy, and that day is to be determined, and the time is to be determined, and so is the network. So that's the regular season schedule for you. And hopefully, I'm going about 9 wins because we need to have a better season than we did last year. I don't know about that, but it's too early to tell right now. Excuse me. And we will. I'm going to get back to this in just a moment, but right now, it is time to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question, which is a Major League Baseball trivia question, as I mentioned. Who were the two players since 2000 to homer on their 40th birthdays? And if you said Jim Thome in 2011, Chipper Jones in 2012, and then there were two more, Alex Rodriguez in 2015, and Joey Votto in 2023, you are correct. Those were the two players that who are two, and I now saw four of them, and those were the correct answers that homered on their 40th birthdays. And I have another trivia question on my next podcast, so stay tuned for that. There is no NBA playoff action tonight, but there will be tomorrow and on Wednesday. Tomorrow in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, it's the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Oklahoma City Thunder. And on Wednesday, in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, it's the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks. So it's hard to say who I think is going to who's going to be in the NBA Finals, and I'm not sure yet. So I cannot make a prediction as of yet. So, and right now, and now we're going to talk about the Guardians. There was a time when the Guardians, they brought in a new assistant head coach for the minor leagues, and they welcomed Corey Glover as an assistant head coach. And there was a time when Corey Glover was one of the most dominant hurlers in all of Major League Baseball. He was a fan favorite and was a perennial star in Cleveland, which is why it's so refreshing to see him back at Progressive Field. Glover joined the Cleveland Guardians to serve as a special assistant and assistant coach. And while his role isn't fully clear just yet, he will most definitely be of big help, excuse me. He claimed that his role would take shape as the season progresses, but he will work closely with the pitchers and the coaching staff to tweak some things. Moreover, he can also be of great help to young pitchers, especially those who have yet to figure things out in the minors. Now he knows what that's like, as he had a 5.56 ERA at AAA in 2011 and had a 5.14 ERA in 2012. So he he has to work hard on his craft to get a chance to do his thing in the majors. Now he thinks he can share that expertise with the youngsters. Uh, I probably experienced uh, pretty close to full spectrum of things, to a full spectrum of things, excuse me, throughout a career, Gluber said. It wasn't a very good minor league leaguer. I wasn't a very good minor leaguer. Uh, Figured some stuff a little bit and still kind of had to develop at this stage. I had success here and I had not success here. Injuries. So I think just having a lot of different types of experiences to build on hopefully uh, presents different types of hopefully presents opportunities to help guys with a lot of different things. Uh, Gluber played in the majors for 13 years, 9 of which were with the Cleveland Guardians, and Kluber wanted to take some time off after he announced his retirement. He was a two-time AL Cy Young Award winner. He led the league in ERA once and even recorded a no-hitter. Then, after staying in touch with former teammates, he realized that he wanted to stay close to the game. And unfortunately, injuries took a toll on his game in the later stretch of his career, but he still went down as one of the most consistent hurlers of his generation. He is a welcome addition to the Cleveland Guardians, and right now, and we're going to look at the Major League scoreboard right now, and right now we are in a rain delay at the end of the third inning. And, and it's 2-1 Minnesota. So we don't know when that is going to resume. But let's look at the Major League scoreboard. This is the National League part of it. The Seattle Seahawks are at the bottom of the ninth, shutting out the White Sox 5-0. Or bottom of the eighth, excuse me, 5-0. And I think the Whites. I gotta see. I think the White Sox are up batting right now, and I think they are batting. It's the White Sox. I do believe. Oh no, it's the Mariners. They are batting right now. The Mariners are up batting. Uh, we have an interleague ball matchup in the top of the seventh. The Orioles are batting, and it's tied at 4 between the Milwaukee Brewers and the Baltimore Orioles in Milwaukee. And in St. Louis, another interleague ball matchup. The St. Louis Cardinals are in the bottom of the seventh, shutting out the Detroit Tigers 5-0. And the Cardinals are up to bat. In the middle of the fourth, the Colorado Rockies and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Rockies up 2-0, middle of the fourth. Bottom of the fourth, and the Rockies are up to bat. Some final scores today in the majors. In the National League, boy, Cincinnati all over the Pittsburgh Pirates, 7-1 today in Pittsburgh. The Miami Marlins beat the Chicago Cubs in Miami by 8-7. The Boston Red Sox beat the New York Nets 3-1 at Fenway Park in Boston. The Houston Astros beat the Tampa Bay Rays in Houston 4-3 at Minute Maid Field. The Kansas City and the Minnesota and the Guardians and the Twins is 2-1 Minnesota. They're in a rain delay at the end of the third. We don't know if it's going to resume or not, or if it'll have to continue as a day-night doubleheader tomorrow. And we have 3 other games. The late games, 9:45 tonight. Kansas City Royals on the West Coast take on the Giants. At 10:05, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim are in Las Vegas, take on the Athletics. And the Arizona Diamondbacks are in LA to take on the Dodgers. So that's a look at your Major League scoreboard. Oh, and so I wanted to just get that in. Uh, but there will be an NBA player, and the Browns team is going to go through, but there's a kind of a county commissioner, Tim Hagan, and the county of Ohio. I wanted to briefly mention that are really at arms right now because they want a lot of the Clevelanders who are on the east side feel that they're inconvenienced, and so and well, they really want to. And I just feel that and and just I gotta find out. I'm looking for. And I really think that but there are some really, and I really think that and they really just want to. This stadium is going to go through though, but you gotta look at this openly, and now I got it, and I'm gonna read this to you right now. A little bit of I'll briefly touch on it real quickly because I'm almost out of time here. The poll asks whether Syntax revenue should be limited, benefiting stadiums that are located within the city of Cleveland. Now, there's a poll circulating around Cuyahoga County asking the possibility of increasing and extending the so-called syntax on beer and cigarettes, which is used to pay for repairs at our publicly owned stadiums. Legally speaking, the current version expires in 2034 and hasn't been bringing in enough money to cover the county's tab needed for repairs at Rocket Arena, Progressive Field, and Huntington Bank Field, despite uh, the uh, despite bringing in about 14 million per year. And based on the deficit, it's not a big surprise that an instinct tax survey is if residents would support a 10-year extension of the sin tax with an increase in tax in beer, the poll would significantly ask about an increase of 50 cents to $1 to $1.50 per pack of cigarettes, about 5 more cents on beer. Now, in a clear reference to the Browns' potential move to Brook Park, the survey also asks if residents think the money brought in by the syntax should be used for stadiums located in the city of Cleveland proper. Other questions people are to gauge whether they strongly oppose or strongly support ideas, whether certain statements are not at all convincing or very convincing. Now, there's a lot of questions, but if you want to get down to this thing, they will be getting this new stadium and moving to Brook Park. You can just get on the red line here on the east side and take the red line rapid over to the west side into Brook Park. That's all you got to do. But the question is what are they going to do with the current stadium downtown on Cleveland's lakefront? So that's the big question. And I just wanted to read you a little bit of that. And uh, so, uh, and so, and but I really, I was gonna do plays of my some great moments in sports history, but I do not have time. So I'm out of time because this has been a long sportscast. So we'll do it next time. But that's just about gonna wrap it up for this edition of Scott Sports 101. And I'll be back with another one of my podcasts later in the week. or this weekend. But until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.